If I was stressed, I would eat. If I was happy, I would eat. What I then realised was I wasn't loving myself well. I wasn't depressed or anything, but I was loving being at home way too much. Comfort zone is a positive thing, but actually very often it's dangerous. I wasn't comfortable with my body. Whatever I was eating, my stomach was bloating in a really, really horrible way.
You started with this journey. Were you feeling very tired all the time? And were you anxious, depressed?
But yes, I was definitely lacking energy. You need to love yourself well to love others better.
Did your diet change? How do you keep on top of it? How do you not give in to your cravings?
If you wait to be motivated, if you wait for the right reason, for the right person, for the right environment, you'll never do it, let's face it. I would highly recommend having a personal trainer. Having a plan and having a routine are absolutely vital to stay committed.
How did you not give up? Ingrid, welcome and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Would you like to start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ingrid. I am Italian, but actually I have now lived in England longer than I ever lived in Italy. And I am 44. I will be 45 this year in September. And I am a mother of two wonderful children. I am a teacher and a senior leader in a secondary school. And I mention that because that's a huge part of my life as well. I love doing what I do in my job.
I have known you very, very briefly, and I've seen you and you kind of seen me, but I don't see the same lady today sitting in front of me that I did a few years back.
Yeah.
What's changed? What's happened?
So a lot has changed, and obviously that's a good sign for anyone, isn't it? In the sense that growth is important. If you stay the same in life, you're stagnant. But physically is the first thing that you see that's changed, which has had an impact on my life in all areas of my life. I won't go back too long, but when I was younger, I was always slim and fit and, everything. I could eat anything I wanted and nothing was an issue in terms of putting weight on. Until I became pregnant with my first child, I guess I was not very knowledgeable about how to eat healthy and the fact that I was not eating for two, really. But in my head, I thought I was. And so I ate quite a lot during my pregnancy, a lot more than I needed to, therefore put a lot of weight on. And after my pregnancy, then that became a difficulty. It became a challenge because for the first time ever in my life, and I was still quite young, I was about 25. For the first time ever though, I had the issue of I need to watch where I'm eating because I'm already quite big. I'm overweight, which means I don't have a lot of energy. I don't want to do any walking, any exercise, but I would love to fit back in my smaller jeans. For years, literally for years, until recent times, I tried diet after diet after diet. And I can assure you that they all worked. They genuinely all worked. At many points in my life, I lost quite a lot of weight and I was happy. It lasted for a little while, sometimes longer than other times. I got into good habits, but then I would go back to old bad habits. And so if I was stressed, I would eat. If I was happy, I would eat. And obviously you've got to eat, but I was eating the wrong things or the wrong amount of things. And as I said, I'm Italian, so you can imagine the amount of carbs that we eat on a daily basis. So, pasta, pizza, bread, those are the main things. We do eat other things, but those are the main things that are in our meals. But interestingly, I would go back to Italy and I would feel really uncomfortable when I'd go there because even though those are our main things that we eat, people in Italy are a lot healthier and they look after their figures, they look after their health a lot better than I did. So it wasn't actually the culture, it wasn't the being pregnant, it wasn't the baby, there's always a reason that we can find to say, oh, this is why I put weight on. It was actually my frame of mind and the fact that I was stuck and I thought, I just can't get out of this. So I can get out of this situation temporarily, but then I know I'll fall back into bad habits. To cut the long story short, what I then realised was I wasn't loving myself well. I was doing it, I was trying to lose weight so I could wear smaller clothes and I could look like I used to look before. But then the minute stress levels rose, or the minute there was a big event, the minute I went on holiday, everything just fell apart in terms of my good habits, and I would fall back into bad habits. So that's kind of like my past story in terms of my health and my fitness.
At your biggest, Ingrid, what were you weighing?
This is the other thing, actually, and sorry not to answer that directly, but I was very good at masking it to myself. And this is why I would then get to that point where, oh my goodness, I need to lose weight again. I would say when I weighed myself, because I would not weigh myself when I knew that I was bigger, thinking, it's okay, I'm not seeing the number on the scale, so it's all good, but it wasn't. And I remember weighing about 87 kilograms, and this was after lockdown. So during lockdown, like everybody else I suppose, started baking like never before.
Yeah.
I'm not even a baker, I can't even bake. I was making donuts at one point, like really? They turn out really nice, but you're baking, you're cooking everything that you could possibly cook, and you're eating it. So I put quite a lot of weight then, and I'm an introvert, so I'm quite happily would stay at home on my own for days and weeks and months, which I then realised later on after the second lockdown, I realised that I was falling into that trap, that I wasn't depressed or anything, but I was loving being at home way too much. And I remember my husband saying to me, don't say that, when I would say, oh, could we just have another 3 weeks of lockdown? Because that means I can just stay at home. I don't have to go and see anyone. Don't have to carry those responsibilities. I can just stick in my pajamas all day. Mm-hmm. And I remember he's the opposite to me. He's a people's person. And he said, you can't say that. That's not a good thing for anybody to do. And then it kind of had an effect to me, because alongside the eating a lot and not moving at all, I would say, I was then struggling to actually go back into my friendships, to go back into my relationships with people. All I wanted to do was just stay at home, do this and that.
Was it just because you're an introvert, or is it because you had put on so much weight that you were like, I'm going to hide now, this is a great opportunity for me to
I would say,
weight?
yeah, I'd say a bit of both, actually. A bit of both. It was just more comfortable. I was in my comfort zone, which isn't always a good place. We think that comfort zone is a positive thing, but actually very often it's dangerous. So yeah, that would be part of the reason, because let's be honest, and there are a lot more important things in life, but this leads to somewhere important in terms of the women that we need to be. If you get dressed to go out, you're not comfortable, because you're wearing your tights, you're wearing your heels, you're wearing things that you have to carry in a certain way. The minute you put your pajamas on, the minute you put your joggers on, it actually doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter how lazy your body is, because you're comfortable and you can just relax in that body and in those clothes. But it's not healthy. It's really not healthy for the body or for the mind at all.
A majority of your growth only happens when you are in an uncomfortable situation and not in your comfort zone. Yeah.
So even when I was slim, I was never happy with my actual weight, as in number. So more recently, this has been one of my battles that I would say I'm still winning, because I'm still battling against it. Now that I have been building muscle and losing fat, and I'm actually at a point where my body, because I don't just now weigh and look at the number, I look at where my muscle is growing, I look at where the fat is going, where the water is in my body, and those kilograms are mainly made of the water in my body and the muscle. And there's very little fat. I think I'm on under 12% of fat in my body now, which is really healthy. So with the help of my amazing personal trainer, who has got a big part to play in my journey in a good way, I am redirecting my thinking that it isn't just about being, if I looked at the table of the BMI and all that kind of stuff, I should probably be around 55 kilograms. I don't remember ever being that weight. Probably was when I was younger and didn't weigh myself, I don't know, at the age of 10. But the weight number is important, because it is, but the composition of your body is even more important.
Oh, more important.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's a battle that I'm still, to show that you're always growing and you're still always fighting against thoughts that come to your mind or preconcepts that we carry that aren't always the right things.
So Ingrid, you said your culture, food is very important. Majority of the times it's quite carb heavy meals. You're a very busy mom of two, you're working as well, and you are an introvert and you like to sit in the comfort zone. How did this mindset change?
So, and I don't know what happened that day, but I was driving, I remember driving to work. Clearly this was on my mind because I wasn't comfortable with my body and I wasn't comfortable with my weight. And yet, if you were to speak to people like my colleagues and people who were around me, they always said to me, and even now they would say to me, but you know, you never looked fat, you never looked huge, you never looked overweight. And I think that's because I knew what clothes to wear and what clothes not to wear, because sometimes that's really helpful. Yes. I wasn't comfortable with my body. I wasn't comfortable with the extra weight that was there, with the exercises that I was wearing. And I was in the car and I just remembered that one of my friends who lives in Sicily, previous to this, a few years before, I'd lost a lot of weight and then I'd watched them maintain this weight. And I thought, hold on a minute. I must ask her what she did because I need something new. Not what I've tried in the past because it's not going to work again. I need something new. So I'd send her a message on WhatsApp and I asked her just that. And she said, I was in touch with this lady who sells these natural supplements and they helped, basically what they did was they helped to balance the cortisol in your body and they helped to kind of wake up your metabolism. And I said, okay. I said, give me the number. I'll get in touch with her. Got in touch with this lady. I found out all about it. I liked the look of this stuff because it was literally 100% natural products. And so I didn't have to be scared because I'm quite skeptical about things like that. I was like, I don't have to worry about that. And I'd seen some stories of people who'd been on that journey using these products and obviously the eating alongside that, what the kind of foods that you eat. And I began to take them, basically drops that you take before your meals. And they did just that. They woke up my metabolism. I didn't even know the word cortisol. I can't even pronounce it properly now. I didn't even know what that was, if I'm honest. For me, it was all about you're eating a lot, you're putting weight on, end of. And a lot of it is that. But I realised that actually I'd been so harsh on myself thinking, you're just a pig. You're just eating a lot. You're just greedy. And therefore you're carrying a lot of weight. And what I hadn't realised, because I was trying, to diet and to cut things down, what I hadn't realised was that actually my metabolism was dead and buried and gone. Therefore, I couldn't have done it by myself. I couldn't have done it by just eating chicken and salad because I would have lost the weight. But then the minute you start introducing, the rice or whatever, or the pasta or a bit of bread, that's why I was putting on weight straight away and probably doubling up what I was originally. So I was on this journey, and in terms of eating meals, yes, I did stop eating mainly, the carbs. I wasn't eating a lot of carbs at all, and I wasn't wanting them because my body didn't feel the need for them. But the plan was good because it then reintroduced the things at the right time and in the right way once that your body was functioning well. And in terms of being at home and cooking for my kids and cooking for my husband and eating together, I kind of found a balance that I would cook pasta for everybody and gluten-free pasta for me.
So before you started with this journey, were you feeling very tired all the time, and were you anxious, depressed?
I was never depressed and neither anxious. I've really experienced anxiety more this past year, but that's because, like I said to you before, that my dad passed away, so that's more linked to that. But yes, I was definitely lacking energy, lacking the willingness to do any kind of exercise, even walking. And I hated it. I was like, I am not made for exercise. And I used to always say, in a very arrogant and I would say stupid way now, I always used to say, I know I can be on a diet and I can lose weight. I don't need to exercise. And it was true, but only to a certain point, because I then would put the weight back on. So definitely lacking energy, and I never looked like this, even when I lost weight, if I'm honest. I never got to this stage. And again, we're talking about looks, but it's so much more than looks that has changed for me.
Yeah.
So I went from that journey of losing weight to then I stopped taking the drops because I didn't need to take the drops anymore. I was now in good habits. And because it is a good, healthy plan, I wasn't putting the weight back on. But I thought, I need to tone up now. So I started looking for classes or whatever. I wanted something little, and I wanted a class. I didn't want to go to the gym because I thought, no chance you're getting me in there. I'm not paying for a membership. It looks horrible. It looks rough. These were all the kind of things that were in my mind, and I wouldn't be able to motivate myself to do it. And it was all true. But I found on a Facebook group page that this lady, her name is Sally, she was holding it was called Legs, Bums and Tums class. So I thought, oh, that's right up my street. It's what I need to be doing. So I went there and I started this class. And it was great from day one. People who were there were all fitter than me. They'd been going to the class before me. So I was a newbie, and I was a bit nervous, thinking, oh dear, I'm not going to be doing really well. I couldn't do a sit-up. I could not do a sit-up. And I thought, I am never going to be able to do what these people are doing. And the main thing was, there were people that older than me, 10, 15 years older than me, who were doing a sit-up and much more. And I used to look at them in admiration, thinking, wow, this is what I should have been doing all my life, but there's no way I can do that now. But at least I'm here. And to be honest, their attitude towards me was a game changer for me, because it was very much about cheering each other on and telling me, no, you will do a sit-up. You might not be able to do it tonight, but you will do it. Just do what you can for now, but you will get to the point when you will. And as I began to know the people in there, I began to build relationships with these people and actually find out, a bit like you're doing with me today, about their journey. Like, how can you be 50 and jump so much? How can your legs be so flexible, when you are more than 10 years older than me? And I realised that it wasn't always easy for them. It wasn't because they were born fit or they were born loving the gym. It was a struggle for them as well. And in return, they had found people who cheered them on, who said to them, yes, you can do it. Let's do it together. So that began to make me think, maybe I need to do a bit more of this. So I began to speak to Sally, who was leading the classes, knowing she was a personal trainer at the gym. And I said, look, I think I need to give this a go. I will probably not last, I'll be honest with you. I said, are you okay if I just say to you, let's give it a go for a month, 6 weeks? But I said, I'll probably give up. I wanted to be honest with her. And she said, yeah, of course, just give it a go and see what happens.
When you say, let's give this a go, what is this?
This as in PT sessions. So learning to use the gym equipment, right. Which even the thought, at that time I was like, I don't even know why I'm asking her to do this, because I would go to the gym to go to the class, which was upstairs, and I would walk past all those machines going, oh my goodness, even walking past this, I'm just like, I hate it. And I don't know why I hate it so much, but I did. But I could see now the fruit of the work spent in the gym using that machine, and it wasn't just physical. And so I began to be more curious about it and more interested in it, rather than just going to a class. So yeah, it would be PT sessions. I started, and to this day, I'm having PT sessions and I am loving it, and it's actually a huge part of my life. It's the highlight of my day. My time with Sally and my time in the gym makes me a stronger mum, a more determined person. Since I've been on this, in the last couple of years or so, I've always thought this phrase that you need to love yourself well to love others better. And I really believe in that. And it isn't, sometimes we're scared of putting ourselves first because we don't want to be taking our time away from our children, time away from our family, from our duties. And it doesn't have to be that way. You just have to find it where it works for you. Now, I go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, which people think is crazy. Probably is. And I started it like that because I didn't want to take time away from my home duties, from my family. And I knew I didn't have time to do it otherwise. I wouldn't have had time or the energy to do it. To me, that's now normal. Getting up at 4:15 to get ready and to be at the gym for 5 o'clock allows me to be back home before 7 and be there to have a shower, make breakfast. But what might seem crazy will become normal if it's what you need to do, and it's, if you reap the benefits of that.
When you started this journey with Sally, how many times a week did you used to go to these classes?
So the classes originally was one class once a week, then it developed to 2 a week. But then apart from the classes, I started having PT sessions once a week, but she gave me a very detailed plan, which would mean that it was basically 3 times a week doing weights. Once would be with her, the other 2 I would do on my own, but under her guidance and what she taught me to do. And then in between I would go and do some cardio sessions, which when I remember talking about the family and the impact it has, I remember when my son first saw it, he was like, Mom, you are not going to be able to sustain that. And I could see what he meant, because
not sustain what?
The fact that I would have to go pretty much every day and lifting the weights, then doing the cardio, like physically it was quite demanding. But what did it for me was, although in my head I agreed with what he was saying, because he knew what I was like and I knew what I was like in the reality, but by now I had known Sally for probably 3 months and I'd seen her believe in me. She had the right way of pushing me, but at the same time encouraging me without it just being pushing me, if you know what I mean.
Did you not feel like giving up at any stage?
Oh yeah, I still do. More before than now. I felt like giving up.
I want to know more before, because that's when people actually give up.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you, and how did you not give up?
Okay, so there were times like, for example, if Christmas comes and you know you're naturally gonna attend less and eat more, because these things happen and that's fine, that's normal. Times when you know you're going on holiday and you think, well, what's the point, because I'm going to go on holiday and I'm not going to be able to do this on holiday, so you know I won't be as disciplined. There were times, a lot of the times in the morning when I woke up and I thought, I don't have to go today because I haven't got Sally today, I haven't got PT, so I could just miss what I planned to do, you know, it's fine. And there were times when I gave in to that thought. Now the difference is, I very quickly learned that the times when I gave in to the thought of, I just don't want to do this, I then regretted it all day and missed what I didn't do. And then the times when, and this happens a lot even now, the times when I think, I could just stay in bed or I could just give up. And I don't do that, so I don't give in to that thought. And the feeling afterwards is the best feeling ever. There's a quote that I've seen on Instagram quite a lot that it says the best workout is the one you didn't want to go into. And then there were times when, so like I said earlier, my dad passed away quite suddenly last year in February, and obviously for a few weeks I didn't go to the gym, and I actually missed it, but I didn't think about it too much because, you know, I was busy thinking about other things and it was a really difficult time. And then I thought, okay, I need to go back because it's been a few weeks, and if I don't go back, I'm really not going to want to go back ever again.
So I know you say that you eat well and you used to be on various diets and everything, but maintaining that consistently, how did that happen for you? When you got into exercising and into weightlifting, etc., did your diet change? How do you keep on top of it? How do you not give in to your cravings?
Yeah, so this is where you need the experts, and this is where I had to be humble, because having done so many diets, actually I thought I was quite knowledgeable. Yeah, you know, you ditch the carbs, low fat, stick to protein, you lose weight. Fact, that happens. The two things go hand in hand, the training, building the muscle, losing the fat, and the eating. You can't not do them together. And when Sally gave me the training plan, she also gave me a food plan, which wasn't, you know, eat this, 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 and this, but it really explained what kind of foods you should be eating, how much protein, how many carbs, because actually you need carbs. You need the carbs, but you need them with the right amount, depending on what you're trying to achieve. And you actually need the healthy fats as well. And I remember first looking at that thinking, I can't have that much carbs. I'm never going to lose weight if I eat those carbs. But again, I said to myself, you're not the professional. She is. She's got the knowledge. She knows what she's doing. She wants to get you to get the results you want. So I listened and I stuck to what that plan was. And it was difficult because it's almost like you have to unlearn all that you think you know. When Dad passed away, I didn't just stop going to the gym. I was struggling to eat meals. It was really bizarre. So I would be at the table because I didn't want my children to see that I wasn't eating, and I was almost kind of pretend I would put less on my plate. But I really, really, really didn't want to eat meals. I didn't want chicken, I didn't want pasta, I didn't want anything. All I wanted was sugar. And so I would then go secretly or unsecretly to the cupboards, and I would have donuts. This is while I've already been on my journey. I've already lost the weight. I'm already determined that I am going back to the gym. And even when I went back to the gym, I was still doing this. So I started to eat my chicken again and counting my protein, but I would still reach for the sugar. And so at this point, I wasn't really so much putting weight on, but I wasn't losing it, and my shape wasn't great. And my strength as well. This was probably the biggest thing that made me think, okay, you need to give yourself a bit of a shake up now. So I was emotionally broken. I was completely wounded. I didn't have that strength in me. I couldn't say that to anybody else. All my mental strength and emotional strength was just gone. And I noticed that in me, and I thought, okay, what is the part that I can pick up? There's got to be something that I can. The other bit's kind of like I'm allowing myself to sail through this pain because it's normal. I didn't want to pretend that it wasn't, but there's got to be something I can do. So that's when I then started going back to the gym. But then as I was doing the gym and eating sugar and not really eating properly, I didn't have the right strength at the gym. And it was almost like I was being a fraud to myself. Like, what am I doing? There's no point me trying to lift weights, trying to run, trying to do the cardio when I'm doing it in a really weak way. And so I thought, okay, we've got to sort the eating out. And from that, I then began to pick up my eating habits again, spoke to Sally again. Okay, this is what you need. You need to be eating more protein, etc., etc. So since then, I lost weight again. That was a turning point for me. And it was a turning point because as I began to do it, it's like you've got to begin to do it. If you wait to be motivated, if you wait for the right reason, for the right person, for the right environment, you'll never do it, let's face it. Because there's always a reason not to do it. There's always more than a reason not to do it. But there's every reason to do it and to start. So aware of that, I thought, okay, I'm just going to start now. But then you begin to see results. You begin to gain that energy, and you begin to feel that strength, and you begin to drop a size, and you begin to be more comfortable in those tighter jeans, and you think, yes. To the point that I then went on holiday to Sicily, as we do every year, for 4 weeks. And I thought, oh, let's see what happens now. This is going to be interesting because, life is more relaxed and you've got more access to ice cream. You're on holiday, you're not going to be cooking all the time, you do eat more pizza. But actually, I felt so comfortable with my body in the sense that, like, this is the shape that I want to keep and invest into, because this body shape actually has helped my mind be stronger and is helping me slowly in my emotional side of things to become better, and it's helping me to heal inside. I didn't want to deprive myself. I still had the ice cream, I still had the pizza here and there, but it wasn't as it would be in the past, like, oh yeah, let's go all out because we're only here for 4 weeks, the rest of the year we don't see this food. There was no need for that, because my pleasure was no longer found in just having all this naughty food or lots of food. It was found in waking up in the morning, going for a run, having that time by myself when everybody was asleep, coming back all sweaty and having a shower, and then putting that bikini on with confidence that I have never had in my life before. And I've always worn a bikini on the beach, knowing, oh gosh, maybe if I sit like this and maybe if I move like that, and before I go into the water I'm going to look looking around. None of that is there anymore. And so then you don't want to undo the work that you've done, but also the running, the lifting, the doing abs becomes a pleasure. While you do it, it might be painful and you don't always feel like getting up and going, but it gives you strength, the strong mind to eat well, even when you're having a cheat meal, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So Ingrid, tell me, somebody who's just starting into their journey of fitness, how much is too much, or what does plan look like?
So from my experience, actually going, I would say 5 times a week, not that you have to do that, but going 5 times a week means, again, it's that commitment that you've made with yourself. And it might be that one day you're doing more work than you're doing another day, but you are introducing this new lifestyle into your routine, especially if you're new, especially if you're nervous about it, especially if it's difficult. My advice would be actually decide beforehand what you're going to do. And I still do this now every Sunday afternoon, write myself a plan of what am I going to train on Monday, on Tuesday, on Thursday, etc. I think that having a plan and having a routine are absolutely vital to stay committed. And if you stay committed, you get your results. I would say, in a sense, I think it's better to do a bit more than you think you can do in terms of how many times you go, to stick to that plan.
So tell me the impact this has had on your family and the community you live in as well. What were they like with you before, and have they changed how they are with you now?
So at the beginning, I had a lot of comments who would say, you know, like somebody said to me, my family, yeah, you're doing it now, but you won't be doing it in November, December, when it's, because they know how I hate being cold. I really hate being cold, and I hate dark nights and dark mornings. And they said to me, you won't be able to do it then, you won't do it then. Autumn came, winter came, did it. The next year came, did it. I'm still doing it now. So there was this prejudice of, but again, I say prejudice, it's who I was. They were commenting on how they knew me as a person, and it was all true. Like I was lazy, I hated the gym, I didn't really want to go anywhere when it was dark. I still don't now. So the comments were negative, but they were probably truthful from what they knew. And this is one thing I would say to people who want to start a journey of fitness that seems completely different to what they do now, that don't listen to anyone. You know what you want to achieve, and people will make comments. Some people will encourage you, some people will laugh because they think, you know, it's funny. Some people think it's just, yeah, whatever, you'll do it for 2 weeks, then you won't go again. And I remember at the time thinking, I even said it to my husband, I said, I might not do it in the winter, but for now I'm doing it, I'm starting. And I want to do this. I don't want to be looking too far ahead and worry that I won't do it then, therefore I won't start now. And I'm not even doing it to prove you wrong. I'm doing it for me. Only when you do things truly for yourself, you can sustain them, you can keep going, because it doesn't matter who's watching anymore or who's not watching. You're doing it for you, so you carry on. So in terms then of the impact it's had in my closer family, so when I talk about my husband and my children, so they've always been supportive. But more recently, you know, there's that kind of like, I'm proud of you. You know, you've achieved so much, not just physically, and we're really, really proud of you. And directly or indirectly, I don't know, my son, he was always going to the gym before I ever went anyway, but I've seen a change in him in wanting to do more and even telling me now about it. So we've gone from going, Mum, that's too much on that piece of paper there, you can't do all that, to going, oh, so Mum, you know when you train legs, do you do this? And you know when you do that, how much do you lift? And it's definitely had a positive impact in thinking about our health, our fitness and our future. So we think a lot as parents. We now think a lot about how strong we want to be when we're older for our kids and their kids, whereas that was never a topic in our life. So my journey has changed our mindset as a family, that it isn't all about eating pizza all the time, but actually what really is important that we never used to talk about before is how fit are we? And I think our generation and the generation before us don't talk about that enough. It's so easy to say, oh, you know, illnesses come and they do, and I'm in my 40s now, so everything is aching. I don't want to talk like that. And now when people say that, and I try to bite my tongue, and I do bite my tongue, but it bothers me, because I think, well, actually, our bodies were not meant to start breaking at the age of 40. We break our bodies because we stop moving, we stop caring for ourselves, and therefore our bodies break.
What is more important, eating right or movement?
Both. They absolutely got hand in hand, and I've experienced either way. I've experienced moving and going to gym, like I was saying, that time when I was, you know, in deep grief for Dad, and then I wasn't eating right. And so if you're not eating right, you're not just not losing weight, but you're not training well and properly. So it's almost like, although it's not a waste of time, it's not as effective. And in return, then you don't have that strong mind or that feeling that you get when you've trained well that makes you feel like you can conquer the world. And you don't have it because you didn't train well, but you didn't train well because you didn't eat well. In return, when you train well and you begin to see those results, you want to eat well. So that they really marry each other, and they're just equally as important.
Did you find you have lost people along the way as you have progressed in your journey?
The people have got back in touch with me that I hadn't spoken to in ages, saying, oh, I've been seeing you on Instagram, and for a while now you've been training, haven't you? Yeah. And you've lost weight and you've maintained it. Yeah. What have you done? And people ask loads of questions, which is great. I really hope that I can be of an inspiration to other people who also think, I can't do it. It's not me. I don't like the gym.
Did you find yourself leaving certain foods completely that you really enjoyed before, or you have found a way to balance it all out in your life?
It's actually the opposite for me. So I'll give you an example. Bread. I discovered how much I love bread when I went on the diet with the drops that I was saying earlier. So obviously there was no bread allowed on that diet. And so I limited myself, like no bread ever, no bread ever. And then more recently, Sally again, she said to me, right, you need to increase your protein, but you need to increase your carbs as well. And actually bread isn't bad for me. And I can enjoy bread because I'm now in control. It's not like in the past that when I stopped the diet and I reintroduced foods, I would then go all out because I haven't had it for so long. And also, now I'm slim, I can eat more. It was that silly mentality that I had. Because I train, and it is because I train, I will not go overboard. I can enjoy bread. I can actually enjoy a slice of pizza or two. I can enjoy pasta. I can even enjoy a slice of cake. But I won't go, oh, I'm going to have another slice and another slice, because in my head, I'm training tomorrow. And I know that extra slice is going to have a big impact on the way I feel while I train, and I don't want to feel that way.
Has your journey inspired any of your immediate family?
It's my older sister. She'd had an operation, and then she'd had some help with a nutritionist who helped her to lose weight and going to the gym. However, the going to the gym, it's now a bit of a laughter. We laugh about it now because we can. She would come to my house and say, oh, I'm just going to go to the gym and I'll be back, and I'm going to do about an hour and a half cardio. And I would look at her thinking, an hour and a half cardio? Like, yes, she's lost weight, but I'm not seeing this fitness guru here that's going to run for cardio for an hour and a half is a lot. It's very demanding on your body. And then we went to the gym together, and I realised why she was doing an hour and a half, because she was walking at like such a slow pace. And I know she won't mind me saying this because the end of this is great. And so she's on this treadmill and walking and watching these videos and film whatever she was watching. I said, look, you can do 4 hours of this, never mind an hour and a half, but there's no point. You're not actually doing anything. Your heart rate isn't rising at all. I said, you need to move a bit faster, So she then began to train with me. She never did any weights, any lifting. I said, you need to lift weights in order for your body to be stronger when you go into the cardio. That's why you can't do more cardio than what you're doing, because your body isn't strong enough. I began to teach her what I had learned. Then she also started having personal PT sessions basically with Sally, and so she began to learn more and more and more and more. The transformation in her body and in her mind and in her emotions are just beyond this world. She is now very, very strong. She trains pretty much 5 times a week. She runs. She never thought she would run, like literally jog, run outside. So yeah, definitely I would say probably in terms of people around me, my transformation has had a really big impact on her.
A lot of people who may want to start a journey or have just started a journey might have the question of, when will I start seeing the results? How long does it take typically, or how long did it take in your case for you to start seeing the results?
I would say if you are very good at staying disciplined and keeping that routine, and so again the two things, the training and the eating, and you're doing it properly, even from the first week, your body straight away is going to begin to get rid of the extra water. On the first couple of weeks, the water will go, and actually you will lose quite a good amount of weight, like with any diet. And then after the first month, you begin to see the shape, and after the first 3 months, 4 months, you really begin to gain that strength. So the first couple of weeks is mainly water, and then you begin to lose a bit more weight. But I would say as well, don't make the mistake I still make sometimes, to only focus on the weight. To measure yourself, that's really important, to measure even your arm, your hips, one thigh or both, to measure your chest, to measure your waist. Actually persevere, stay consistent, and don't only focus on the weight.
I was going to ask you a question regarding the mental strength and the growth part, but before we do that, we were talking about personal trainers and how your personal trainer has really been your biggest support during this journey, has motivated you to kind of begin and start this journey and to continue. How do you know if a personal trainer is a red flag or a green flag?
I would say one of the things, I'll talk about Sally, and so I'll talk about what isn't a red flag, what's a green flag. Sally's a lot older than me, and she is very strong and fit. But I watch her train, and I watched her push herself. On days where life isn't as kind, there is nothing stopping her, not because she's fit, but because she wants to stay fit. And she's very honest and authentic about who she is and what her journey is like. And so for me, that's inspirational. You know, somebody who kind of has arrived in my eyes, who is still pushing herself out of a comfort zone and leading from the front. So being an example to the people she teaches, to the people that she leads and supports. To me, that's the biggest green flag you can ever have. And therefore, on the other hand, a red flag would be somebody who doesn't look after their body. A red flag for me would be somebody who isn't determined, somebody who doesn't show their journey, somebody who doesn't push themselves, somebody who doesn't believe in you and just all they want to do is push you without telling you why they're pushing you or where are they pushing you to. What are the steps? Where is the balance? And again, that teaching of the nutrition side of things, not just giving you the aspect of, oh, you can lift heavier weights or you can run a bit more, or what are you eating before you're doing that? And, you know, and keeping you in check, but without it being like you feel like you have a school teacher telling you off. It's with the best interest at heart.
How long have you been on this journey now?
So the fitness, the dieting, a lifetime, but the 2 years. And this is why I say it's possible, because I didn't look like this, I didn't talk like this, I was never this determined or passionate about fitness. And in the space of 2 years, and the consistency is there, it isn't something that happened last week either. You know, this can be anybody's journey.
What's changed in you apart from the physical attributes? Mentally, what's changed for you?
So mentally, the ability or the willingness to go against the negative thoughts and the thought of, like I was saying earlier, oh, I might do it now, but I won't be able to do it in 3 months' time. For example, at the moment, I'm working a lot on my long distance running, and it's very easy for me to think, gosh, I know I can do 5k, but I'll probably die at 10. Or when I start the run and I think, oh dear, will I really get to 10? And I'm training my mind to go, we're going to get to the first K first, then the second. And then when we get to second, we worry about getting to K number 3. So that ability to pace myself out without relying on motivation and without just doing it for the quick results, because I was very big on that. I just wanted results yesterday.
Yes.
And to have the patience to persevere. So I am more determined than ever to persevere, because this makes me feel good. It helps me, and this is a lifestyle now. It's not because summer is coming, it's not because I'm going to a wedding, it's not because I've got to wear a bikini. This is what's changing me, that now this is a lifestyle for me.
What's next for you? What's your next achievement that you want to go for?
So there's a few things. One is for my first time I did High Rocks, which is, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's a big competition where it's all around the world now. So athletes go and they compete at different levels. So last year somebody asked me, they said, do you want to come and do a relay with us? And I was like, oh, that sounds a bit scary, but yeah, why not? And you do there's different stations where you do strength exercise, some cardio, and every time between one station and the other, you are doing a run of 1K. And it is hard, it's difficult, especially if you don't train for it. But Sally says, I'm not ready to do a solo race, apparently. Again, I don't think I fully believe it, but I believe her words. So I would really, really love to do that. The only thing actually that's stopping me from booking one at the moment is there isn't one available yet in the UK, but that's one of my goals, to be able to go and do that, knowing how difficult it is to train for it and then achieve that goal. And then the other one, which is a bit more longer term, is to see all of my family more into fitness. I'd love to see all 4 of us really engaged and really being into this routine of fitness, which then leads to so many other things.
Do you find yourself judging anybody when you see that they are not looking after themselves, eating rubbish, and then maybe complaining about the 20 different issues they have?
This has done the opposite to me. So I probably used to judge more before, when, for example, I would go on a strict diet and go, well, look at me, I've gone on a strict diet and I've lost all that weight, why aren't you doing the same stuff? Instead of complaining, just go on the diet. Actually, it's done the opposite. It makes me think, I wonder what the barriers are. I wonder what are the things that they haven't overcome in order to be able to look after themselves well. I actually judge a lot less now, thinking about it, and think, I wonder, I know now what my barriers were, and I didn't know they were barriers to me and my limits. I wonder what their barriers are. I wonder what is stopping them from believing they can do it.
So before we end today, Ingrid, I do ask all my guests to leave me a little positive message, and I have a board behind you and I'll pin it up there, and then when that board is full, and I hope it will be one day, I can then share it with everybody as well. So do you mind leaving me a little positive message?
So it says, we need more people like you in our society who are willing to create a platform like this one where authentic conversations are shared and become of inspiration to others. It's been an absolute privilege to have been able to share my journey of transformation, and I do hope it has been inspirational.
It absolutely has. Thank you so much, Ingrid. And I know that this is the last thing we do, but I have one last question for you. Are you happy where you are, and are you proud of where you are today? Yes, I am definitely happy with where I am, and I'm happy that I ignored the negative comments where they could have discouraged me. Comments that might have even not meant to have been a discouragement, but I give a lot of value to words, and I know that in the past I would have taken them to heart and gone, oh, maybe they're right, I can't do it. So I'm glad and I'm happy, because this is where I need to be, and this is where my children need me to be, where my husband need me to be. And yes, I'm proud of myself. I don't say that very often. I always look at what I can do better, which is a good thing to do, and how, what can I do more of. But I am proud to have come this far, to have stayed consistent and determined not to give up, not to stop, not to have come this far, to only have come this far. Ingrid, I have to say, and I said it before as well, you are an inspiration to me. I feel so motivated and so hopeful of the future as well for myself. As I said, this is somewhere I want to be, as well in terms of fitness. And listening to you today and your journey and your story, I feel like I can do it as well. If you can do it, I can do it as
100%,
well.
yes.
That's the next thing for me now on my to-do.
That's exciting, yeah.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. I wish you all the very best for the future, and I'm really grateful for coming here and sharing your story.
Absolute pleasure.
Ingrid's journey is a reminder that change doesn't come from wishing. It comes from doing. She showed us that discipline beats motivation, that community matters, and that loving yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. If her story lit a spark in you, don't let it fade. Start small, start messy, start tired, but start. Thank you, Ingrid, for showing us what's possible when you refuse to give up on yourself. If you have a story to share and want to take part, please scan the QR code on the screen. To listen to more such stories, please subscribe to the channel Unbroken, My Story with Tisha. Until next time, stay unbroken.